our 2025 San Diego Supercross review. And oh my gosh, Eli Tomac is back, man.
So back.
I cannot believe what he accomplished in that race. Yeah, he started like 7. Actually, I think it was 8th, bro. Like behind Chase. Yeah, it was like 8/9 and made it all the way to 1st in lap 12 and held onto the lead for the next 12 laps ahead of Jet, which is insane. Like Jet was flying too. Like Jet looked back as well. Like
he looked a little off. I think
I don't know. In the beginning he looked a little like
a little
timid.
tight, you know?
Yeah, a little tight, a little timid. And then as soon as Tomac passed him around the outside in the sand, I think a light like flipped in his head. He's like, oh crap, I gotta go.
I watched it twice again, which is nice for this, because I watched it on Saturday and then I watched it again on Sunday with my son. That what you're saying about, you know, Jet kind of picking it up after he get past, it was true. Like it took him a little while like to get going. It's really strange, but yeah, Tomac would be 2-0 if he didn't tuck the front at A1. Like no, after seeing that, no doubt my own, he'd be, in my mind, he'd be 2-0.
Bro, I think he's the best rider in the field right now.
It's the best Tomac we've seen ever.
I cannot lie. After I watched him do that at San Diego, I thought back to A1 and I'm like, yeah, he's the best guy. He pulled whole shot. And if he doesn't crash, he most likely is right there with Chase winning that, right? So yeah, Tomac is back and he looks, like you said, better than ever, bro. Like he looks so freaking good. Him and Jet gapped 3rd place, aka Cooper Webb. I think, don't quote me, I think it was like 12 seconds, 12 or 13 seconds. And that's after halfway too. That's not like in the beginning. Like that was after lap 12. They gapped him by 12 seconds. That's ridiculous.
My initial takeaway from, you know, my initial thoughts, takeaway from the 450 class after watching that race was like, this season's going to be so good, because I don't think Tomac's going to get a start every week. You know, and I think that Jet will get a start and then Tomac will chase him down. So far, we've seen that Jet has the pace, Chase has the pace, Tomac has the pace, Kenny's fast, Cooper Webb's solid, right? Like if Cooper Webb can get a start and those guys all get buried, like Cooper Webb will be gone. Everyone has pace. I mean,
at least those top 5 guys definitely have pace. And the one thing for Cooper Webb, he did post on socials that he was sick. Take that into consideration, that he held off Kenny, who was fighting for that podium. Like he held it off, and he, like, Cooper Webb rode great. But yeah, one thing I think personally, Chase, if he doesn't go down on that first lap, I think it would be the same thing with him and Tomac and Jet. I think they would have gapped the field. Now, Tomac maybe still would have won and Chase finished 3rd or something like that, right? But I think him going down and him having to go from dead last to 6th place in the middle of the traffic, he was putting down the same lap times as Tomac, as Jet. And so that just tells me that, yeah, Chase has the pace like you're mentioning, and he's going to be someone that's going to be fighting for this championship with those 2 other guys.
He looks really good. I mean, yeah, he made the goofy mistake or whatever, but I mean, so did Tomac, and they both did basically the same thing. Come back to, I mean, Chase was 6, Tomac was 5. The same thing, in my opinion. You know, who knows what could have been that difference. Both able to come from dead last to a top 5. Really impressive in that field, considering the people that he passed. I think a lot of the time we have a rider or 2 that seem to separate themselves in speed. This year, it feels like we have at least 3 guys in speed. Cooper Webb is always somebody that doesn't seem fast, but then is always somehow there, right? Like he doesn't strike me as fast, but then he's always fighting for podiums. And then Kenny, Anderson, and all these guys that when they're feeling good, can run up there. I don't know. It's crazy. It's a crazy season.
This field is stacked. And one thing with Chase too, he even mentioned it a little bit in the interview right after the race, but he almost got landed on by Dylan. And so that was scary, like almost a Trey Kennard situation. I think that, as he mentioned, it just flustered him a little tiny bit, kind of got him off his game a tiny bit, made a tiny mistake that cost him. I think if he's able to triple that triple, none of that happens, right? So, for example, Anderson, 3rd place last week. What happened this week? I have no idea. Like, I don't even know what happened. 12th. I think he got like 13th or something like that. So like you're mentioning, if Anderson's on, he's a podium guy. If he's not on, he's going to get buried. Like that's just how stacked this field is, right? If you don't get a start and you don't try to run that pace, you're getting buried. And we saw that today.
I mean, I think Hunter can get podiums, will get podiums this year. I think Kenny will get more podiums. I think Cooper Webb, I think Anderson, I think Prado will get a podium, you know, at some point once he probably towards the end of the season when he gets things figured out, like you said, maybe Daytona, because he's gonna be ripping there. I don't know. It's like, yeah, half the field seems like they could podium at any point. But definitely it seems like those three, Tomac, Sexton, and Jet, maybe already kind of separating themselves a little bit, you know?
Yeah, I totally agree. Going to the 250 class a little bit here, Deegan has me a little bit worried. Just a tiny bit. Just a tiny bit.
Yeah.
5th place at A1. 3rd place at San Diego. He doesn't crash at San Diego and only can get a 3rd. And so it just has me a tiny bit worried. Not hitting the panic button just yet. But after round 4 at Phoenix, if he doesn't get a win, I'm hitting the panic button.
My, kind of takeaway from 250s is kind of not the same thing, but that there's way more title contenders in West than I thought going in. I think going in, it was obviously I thought Deegan was going to win all of the races, and that hasn't been the case.
That's not even
and
close.
Now, not even close. We were cooked on that one. And thinking about my predictions for round 3, Juju looks insane. I think Cole Davies can win a race. I mean, he's shown that he has the pace, the speed, the composure. I would not be at all surprised if in this series he wins a race. Pretty big surprise for me from 250s is, why can I not think of his name? Triumph.
Oh, Jordan Smith.
Jordan. Yeah, I commented on one of his posts. I'm sorry for doubting. Buddy is solid.
I actually want to make a post saying I'm sorry for doubting too, because bro, he's solid. Ripping. No, like seriously, if he gets a start, he's top 3 guaranteed in my eyes. Yes. Like if he get, or I'd say top 4 guaranteed. Well, top 3 now with Joe broken fingers. So yeah, I think it's a top 3 guaranteed for Jordan if he can get a start. And the last 2 weeks shows us that he can get a start on that bike.
Even not a start though, he crashed at A1 and came back. So like,
that is true. That is very true.
3 or 4, kind of regardless, is where I was going to put him now. I mean, he was really off my radar, so yeah, I kind of choked on that one. But
same, brother, same.
I think a lot of people probably did. I mean, yeah, but yeah, he looks amazing.
And then going back to your other point, Juju looks amazing, like absolutely amazing out there. Like he looks like a vet now. And same with Cole, dude. Cole looks like a freaking vet for his rookie year. He looks calm, cool, and collected, like you kind of mentioned in our videos last week. I think maybe in the main, he kind of got a little flustered in that, like after pulling a whole shot and leading for a little bit, kind of got a little flustered. But now he has a taste of it, and I expect him to be there more and even survive in first place a little bit longer and a little bit longer until he gets that win.
He looked tired. That was the one thing that I noticed after his heat race. And my assumption is it's not a fitness issue and more of like an excitement thing, like he was leading, was super excited, and then burned through all of his energy simply off of just excitement.
One of my biggest surprise though from San Diego was Deegan not being able to catch the leaders. He didn't go down like it happened at A1. I want to say like 6 or 7 off like after first lap or something like that. And then he got into 3rd, but he was never able to catch those guys. And he actually had the fastest lap of the race too. So I don't know if it was just maybe tiny mistakes or maybe getting a little bit tired in the race. But that was my biggest surprise, that he didn't catch Jordan or Juju and try to win that race.
All things considered, it was a really good race considering how far he was back. Like, it was a great performance, worked his way up, got a podium. But for Hayden, I think everyone kind of expects him to do what he's done so many times in the past, where, oh, he's 6th, oh, he'll be in 1st in 5 minutes, right? And yeah, I guess I'm still looking for that too. I'm surprised. I'm still looking for that just dominant Deegan that we're kind of used to, where everyone's just ripping and he's going 1.5 seconds, 2 seconds faster than everybody else, just kind of locked in. And maybe it's maturity, like he's salvaged a couple bad starts and is still up there in points, and he's way ahead of where he was last year in points. And so maybe it's maturity and he's playing the long game. He doesn't want to throw it away. But I guess I'm also surprised that he's just not just absolutely raw dogging everybody like he has in the past,
And I think that, like you kind of mentioned, that it's just his starts. I think if he can get better starts and he gets into that top 2, top 3 starts, or in this start, he most likely will be battling for the win. I think the last couple of weeks he just has bad starts. Obviously the one at A1 where he crashed off Rider D, which actually wasn't that bad of a start. He just hit back of Rider D. So, but yeah, San Diego start was not that good. It got buried a little bit. But yeah, I'm just kind of surprised that he even didn't catch them. That's kind of just what I thought. So
my other surprise is Joe, just after seeing his hand, what a ride. Like, that was insane. I don't know how he was even able to hold on. Like, I've seen some pretty, you see some people break their fingers or whatever. That looked like it was broken and like dislocated and just cooked all around.
Yeah, it looked like his fingers were like pushed. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but I'll throw up a photo on here. But like, it looked like it was pushed back a little bit. like indented almost. It was
brutal. You know, when they said that he broke his fingers, I mean, a break always sucks, but like it could be like a little fracture or something, and I mean, it's still gonna hurt real bad. But that that was like, dang, no way. Like what? Like the amount of heart he had to have, and he didn't even do bad. Like,
no,
what he
got 7th. That's not bad at all for that.
Came from pretty, I think he was buried, you know, or pretty far back and worked his way up. Like definitely fought forward. And that was a really big surprise after I saw his hand, which was wow. Really impressive.
For that situation, how does that even happen, man? It happened in qualifying, okay? And Joe was running close to the pit boards. I get that. It looked like Shock's Mechanic's pit board, like his pit board was just sideways and wasn't even doing anything. It was just resting on the side. I feel like you got to put that down. You got to wait for a rider. You got to move it. You see the riders coming. You got to move. In my eyes, that should never happen.
That mechanics area did feel oddly close. Like I noticed it before it happened. Like it looked like some of the riders were like ducking, you know, and they were pulling their pit boards really fast. You know, a lot of the time they'll hold it out there and then kind of pull it back, but it looked like they were holding it out there and then just ripping it away as the riders are coming by because they were going to hit it. Had it, you know, because they're standing behind that little barrier thing. I wonder if he had it there and then was like picking something up or something and was like he was bracing himself, and just didn't think that it was sticking out, you know, the foot or whatever it was.
Very unfortunate for Joe, bro. Because after an A1 win like that, obviously you do not expect your hand to break with a pit board. Like, I don't even think anybody expected that to happen.
Depending on where his eyes are in relation to where the pit board was, like he might not even been able to like see it, you know, because it was flat, you know, like it's not, I don't know. That sucks.
Besides, I would say like that Joe situation, one of my other biggest letdowns of the race was AP. He did pretty decent in the heat race. He was behind Malcolm Stewart in the heat race, and he got 6th. So not the greatest, but then heats really don't matter too much. Yeah, like he looked really good. He looked right there with Malcolm. And in the main event, he crashes after the major quad section, triple quad, bangs his head a little bit. He is okay, thankfully. He should be back for. I didn't see the crash. But they were just saying that he took a spill, hit his head, but he will be okay. That's just my biggest letdown. Because as you mentioned in our predictions video, you expect him to be top 5. Like, we expect him to be a top 5 guy. And for him to have a crash, not finish, is very unfortunate for him.
When I watched it back the second time, you know, he got stuck in Sexton when Sexton crashed. And so they were both dead last. Before AP crashed, as Sexton and him were coming through the field, AP was actually one full position ahead of Sexton as they were moving through the pack. I was even more let down because that's my letdown as well, is because he was ripping. It's not like they were in 20th and then Sexton was moving up and, you know, AP was lagging 3 or 4 positions back. Like, AP was ripping. He looked like he was holding his hand, and he actually, I mean, he was. He like looked at his hand and held it and then shook it when they showed it. And so I'm hoping that he maybe just like bruised it or whatever and it was just hurting in the moment. But I was thinking like, oh no, he broke fingers, broke a hand or whatever.
Obviously we don't have footage of what happened. If like you're saying he's holding his hand, my assumption here is he either overjumped it or he underjumped it and came up and cased it and he jammed his hand and then his head, possibly here, head maybe jammed into the bars, rung his bell, kind of got loose after the end and then maybe tipped over. So that's kind of what I'm assuming, because we saw a lot of people go down in that rhythm section.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people go down. You had Talon Hawkins go down, which was a weird crash. Avery Long went down. We saw a bunch of the 250 guys case the crap out of the quad. That section was no joke, right? So I wonder if maybe it wasn't anything major. It was just maybe a tiny mistake, clipped it, cased it, jammed his wrist or something. So
glad to hear he's back and ready to go, because he looked really good. Like his on paper result in the heat wasn't great, but he definitely looked racy and like he was all over Malcolm and whoever Malcolm was battling with, I forget.
With you mentioning that he was like ahead of Sexton, I would assume by the end of that race, if he doesn't go down there, it would have been AP, Sexton, 6-7 or something to that nature. 10. Yeah, exactly. So it would have been a great ride if he was able to finish the race, even with like saying going down with Sexton at the very beginning. Just sad, man, because we saw AP win last year at San Diego. We wanted him to do good this year. We wanted to see if he can repeat. At the end of the day, we are glad that he's okay. He's going to be back for next week. So one of my favorite moments of the race is the 450 LCQ, because one, we had 3 of our sponsor guys in there. Yeah, we had Scott Meshy, Kevin Moranz, and Justin Starling. Unfortunately, Justin and Scott weren't able to make the main, but Kevin Moranz was able to get in. And so one of our sponsor guys got in, and that was probably my favorite moment of the race because that is cool. Freaking so sick to have the Exhibit logo on Kevin's bike in the main event. Dude, we were cheering so hard. If you guys go watch the watch party, I mean, even on our reactions, we're going crazy for it. We were kind of scared at first because Grant was ripping. Grant Harling, who was right behind Kevin in the LCQ. Oh, we were like 3 minutes left. I'm like, bro, I'm nervous. I'm like super nervous. I was like, this cannot happen. But unfortunately, Grant did the same thing Deegan did in the whoops and crashed. And yeah, thankfully he's okay as well. But yeah, that was definitely one of my favorite moments of the race.
For 250s, my favorite moment has to be Davies winning the heat.
Oh yeah, 100%.
That was just sick, you know. And then Juju winning, just honestly, both of them doing really good. Pretty stoked that I was on that train well before the season started. Yeah, both of them, you know, saying that they were going to do really good. And so now to see them both doing awesome is super, super cool. And then for 450s, has to be Tomac just demolishing Jet in the sand section.
Yeah, that pass was nuts, bro.
That's like a top 10 Supercross moments of all time for me. Like, because it was Jet, it was just so much better, you know?
I get you.
Absolutely,
I get you.
Just ripped that corner to pieces, and nobody ever hit it that fast ever again, not even Tomac. It was just like, we're just gonna third gear, hold this thing wicked and hope she works out kind of a thing, and it worked out.
Yeah, definitely a crazy moment for sure. That was so exciting, dude. I don't know how we're gonna top like San Diego. That was a great race. That's gonna be hard to top. I mean, we're still early.
A1 was sick too. I thought that was a great kickoff, and then San Diego's
we've had back-to-back great weeks of Supercross. Every Saturday is so freaking fun for me now because we get to watch amazing riders, we get to watch amazing racing. Personally, I feel like right now with how stacked the field is, if someone pulls whole shot and leads, you're still going to see some amazing battling throughout the pack, right? So yeah, I'm excited for A2. It's going to be so much fun.
Doing this, it's given me like even more reason to like really pay attention and not just throw it on and walk in. So yeah, it's been a fun season so far, you know, really kind of getting down into everything, paying more attention to the riders and all the other media too. So that's been fun.
And the best part about it is we're week 2 out of 31, baby. We got a lot more to go. So with all that being said, San Diego was awesome. Or let us know in the comment section below what was your guys' favorite moments. And then be on the lookout for our rider ratings tomorrow, which is going to be sick. We're going to switch it up a little bit on that. So just stay tuned for that. And then we'll have our predictions for A2 on Thursday. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. So with that being said, much love and we're out. Peace.